And the latest ABC News and Ipsos poll shows 58% of Americans think former President Trump should be charged with a crime for his role in the riot. That's up from 52% before the hearing started. That same poll found 60% believe the committee is doing a fair and impartial job presenting its case. But there is a stark partisan divide. 91% of Democrats and 62% of independents think Trump should be charged with a crime, compared to 19% of Republicans. Let's bring in White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks on Capitol Hill, along with ABC News legal contributor Kimberly Whaley for more on this. Thank you both for being here. Mary Alice, what do you think these poll numbers tell you about how effective these hearings have been so far?
I think they're pretty good reviews for the committee right now. You know, the committee is mostly made up of Democrats, and there was talk about whether that would just be viewed as too partisan, but it looks like Americans are tuning in and they're taking it seriously. You know, I'm struck by that number, 58% in our poll saying that the former president should be criminally prosecuted. I think it's important to remind our viewers that, of course, the committee will not be engaged in any criminal prosecutions. The question is, will their findings, will any of their evidence be used by the Justice Department to pursue criminal charges? And that remains sort of a major question, not only for these lawmakers, but for the officials at DOJ. We know that at the DOJ's request, the committee is going to turn over all of their witness transcripts as early as July. And there will be a big focus on whether anyone related to the former president could face more charges.
Now, Kim, today's hearing is expected to focus on Trump's alleged campaign to pressure state officials to overturn the election results. We're going to hear from Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger about that now infamous phone call where Trump apparently pushed him to find the votes needed for him to win. What are you watching for in today's hearing?
Well, you know, you played the critical clip where he said, find the votes. What does that mean, find them? That means gin them up, manufacture them. So Trump's intent, Donald Trump's mindset, I think, is going to be critical throughout the remaining days of the hearing. But in addition, we are supposed to hear about the effort to concoct fake slates of electors, to basically send people to the state legislatures to come up with false slates of electors to then confuse Mike Pence, to confuse the United States Congress. So we'll hear about that. We're also supposedly going to hear from former acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen and his deputy. These folks were pressured to use the Justice Department to thwart the election, and on threat of resignation, Donald Trump pulled back on that. And I think the clip of the person who had death threats or had physical threats against her for doing her job, I think this is a bellwether moving forward. This has infected the bowels of our election system today. There are people that are not going to be able to comfortably do their jobs as citizens because of this. And I think we should pay attention to the moving forward piece as well.
Now, Mary Alice, former President Trump is criticizing Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy for pulling all of his Republican picks from the committee after Speaker Pelosi rejected 2 of them. Trump is now saying effectively that ceded the spotlight to Democrats, and it gave Republicans no ability to offer a rebuttal throughout these hearings. Do you think McCarthy is regretting that move now?
This is a big point of conversation up here in the halls of Congress, a big debate among Republicans, a question about whether Republicans, if there were more Republicans on that committee, would they be able to sort of cross-examine some of these witnesses? Would they have been able to fight against some of the scope of some of the subpoenas? I mean, there are 2 Republican members on the committee. I think that's important to remember. They are just 2 Republican members that have basically been condemned by their own party for their participation in this committee. So there's a little bit of a Monday morning quarterback going on here, where I think that Republicans were really torn about whether to be involved. And right now, because these hearings are high profile and they're turning over such shocking details for the American people, I think Republicans are wondering whether they should have stepped up and been more involved.
Now, Kim, the committee has given evidence that Trump knew he legitimately lost the election and that his advisors told him as much. The last hearing concentrated on the pressure campaign on former Vice President Pence and the legal strategy pushed by lawyer John Eastman to block the certification of the election results. What do you think about the committee's case so far on that front, and how do you think today's hearing will play into that?
Well, I believe, as others have said, that there is ample evidence of that Donald Trump had the intention to overturn the election, and the suggestion that, well, maybe he really believed that he won. I think that we've already seen a lot. There's also 1,000 witnesses that we haven't heard from. So it will, moving forward, I think the question is whether Merrick Garland, after this, will take steps to actually indict.
All right, Mary Ellis Parks, Kim Whaley, thank you both. And we will carry today's hearing live. That starts at 1 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.